Good morning and welcome to the Soul and Lune Podcast. I'm Soul, the starved cheeseburger dumpster.
And I'm Luna, the silly little clown with a silly little secret.
We're cute.
And misinformed.
Yes. This is actually a topic we're quite informed in as we live in these bodies.
True.
I'm a celestial being with no gender and all genders at once. I'm a silly little slut. I'm a whore for anything and everything to come my way. But anyway. Yeah.
Basically, my sources, I made it up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. My source is fucking divine, bitch. From up there. I literally got it from God. God put me in this body and was like, you're better than the man and woman shit. Anyway.
Got him.
Got him real good. But yeah, no, we're going to be talking about our experiences with gender specifically in this podcast. It's a little more serious than we normally do. Or I guess we're going to do like a split podcast where it's a more silly, goofy one. And then this one's going to be a bit more serious.
Yeah, this is something that I've always wanted to hear your insight on. And just kind of like dish and talk about our experiences. Because I think there's a lot of almost misconceptions about what it means or like what gender means to other people.
Right.
And kind of just putting out there a resource of like exploring your own of like the possibilities that there could be. Basically it's yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I just want to like preface this, I guess. First, I'm sick. So my voice isn't normally like, is it lower than normal? Or is it just my
Maybe.
ears fucking with me? I don't know.
No, it sounds I guess I'd say it's a little bit lower.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little sick. I got a goofy throat, and I got that amazing throat though. You know what I mean? Anyway. Fuck, I got lost. This is the serious one. I got lost. No, So if you hear anything, any snuffles or like coughing or spitting, whatever the fuck, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Sometimes I puke, so you know.
Oh.
Don't worry, but I'm not even gonna edit it out. I'm just gonna let y'all live with it. I also would like to say that though, this is me personally, though I am open about myself and my gender experiences, not everyone is like me. So if you're somebody out there who, you know, you're listening to this and you're going like, oh, well, maybe like I'll learn something from this for my friend that might be non-binary. It's like, well, don't assume anything. Just let them come to you. You know? Like, leave an open space, let them come to you. But I'm open to talk about it because I think a lot of people need to have that comfort of hearing about it. Because it's often not heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's also not necessarily your friend's duty to educate you, basically, or explain themselves.
Right.
In a way. Like, they could choose not to say anything. That's just, like, their prerogative, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so how do we want to do this? Do you want to start, or do you want me to do my thing?
Yeah, let's have you... So, well, where does it start, I guess?
It starts when you trip on a rug. No, I'm kidding. I tripped on a rug and I went, oh my god. I think beep beep and beep beep. Oh my god. And I went, no.
When I burst from my mother's
Yeah,
cocoon.
I burst from my mother's fucking pussy cocoon. And I went, oh my god, Mom, don't give me that toy truck, please.
This is a serious one.
All right, this is sorry, my bad. Okay. This is a serious one.
Okay. So I guess like I met you when you identified as male, and then you had was it like how many years ago was that? 3 years ago?
Yeah, about 3-4 years.
Yeah. Where you went by female.
Yep.
And then kind of transitioned from that. So I guess when did you decide?
Yeah, when I
you
said
wanted
decide
turn
to
your back
come
on
out.
God.
Right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I still am trying to gain my penance with God, with the Christian God. Because that's what Christmas is about. Christmas. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, growing up AMAB, especially in a family that's my family is actually like Catholic. There were a lot of masculine expectations, I guess, where they sort of expected me to just live out my life and without any help, just figure it out and just be good on my own and stuff, which I did eventually do. But anyway, there's a lot of little stuff that sort of ticked me about the whole you must strictly be masculine thing, right? But growing up, I thought that meant like, oh, well, I wonder if maybe I could like transition or something. It was already something on my mind because I had like access to the internet where I could do not necessarily research, but every now and then I'd run into people who are like, this is my story. My story is I am trans, or I am da-da-da-da, or what, whatever. And I thought to myself like, oh, maybe that's it. Now at the time, non-binary wasn't really a thing in my mind. It was always a thing. These concepts have always been a thing. We just have applied new names for it because we need to label them. That's all we did. But anyway, it just wasn't something I could label or define at the time. And so when I initially transitioned and when I initially came out and when I was growing up thinking about it, I was like, oh, I must be female, or like, I must be a trans woman. And I don't regret that decision. I think a lot of people have that confusing thing with me where they're like, oh, maybe, like you detransitioned, you must have not liked it. And it's like, I loved it, dude. It was great. I could wear dresses and like twirl around and shit and feel pretty. That was fine. As a matter of fact, I still want to feel that way these days, But, living life as a man and seeing the social expectations of that, not to mention the social pressures of that, which is also not talked about a lot, and then living life as a woman where, holy fuck, there's even worse social pressures and even worse social expectations, or at least maybe not necessarily worse, but harder, right? Like, you have to be super pretty or you don't even get respected, like stuff like that. And yes, I was hot as fuck. I'll admit that. But, it was still, I didn't like that feeling of, I didn't like it either way. I didn't like the expectations that they had for me in a masculine sense or a feminine sense. But then I realized I liked some social aspects of masculinity and femininity. Like, let's say, instead of traditionally thinking of masculine as like this alpha type, masculine can be protective. Like there's a flip side to all of it. And alongside with the whole like like expectation of women in our society, I was also thinking like, yeah, it's protective as well, just in a different way, right? So I sort of decided I don't fit in either category, but rather I am outside of the categories and also reaching into both categories and just like picking and grabbing the things that I'm like, well, I can help with that, and I can help with this, and I can help with that. Therefore, I am my own person. I'm not binary, right? Like, that's my definition for it myself. And, there's a whole wallabaloo about, like, I had a lot of problems with the way people expected me to dress, the way people expected me to look growing up, they were always just sort of like, and even the way I had to carry myself, I forced myself into like sports. I love sports, but I didn't like all of it all the time. Sometimes I'd get into like little tussles and fights with people just because I felt like I had to put out this show as like a quote unquote man Andrew Tate style. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
That testosterone.
yeah. You gotta let. I want to fight a gorilla. Like, like it's always that sort of crazy shit when it was masculine stuff. Give me a second. But I soon came to realize that I like the idea of not man and woman, but masculine and feminine energies, and that I harness either or anytime I need. You know? Yeah. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff I can get into, I guess, like about aside from gender identity and the discovery of my identity, there's also the dysphoria, like how to deal with dysphoria and how I overcame that. I'm still dealing with it now, but I don't have, it's not as debilitating. I can walk outside and I'll feel okay,
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I keep coughing right now.
Oh, you're good. You had that disclaimer at the beginning.
I'm a little honk schnoozer right now. Sorry, everybody.
A little under the weather.
Yes.
Yeah, so I know. Ooh, let's talk about how your friends reacted. 'Cause I know that was a bit of a topic.
Oh yeah. I think,
Ooh, and
okay,
and how you wish they would have reacted. There we go.
they reacted exactly how I needed them to. They reacted as they did, and I soon realized that some friends were way more toxic to me than I had ever known, and that they were not worth keeping around. So, like, initially coming out. So I won't say their names for the sake of this podcast and stuff, but I was in a car with two of my friends. Let's call them friend A and friend B. Okay. We're parked outside a 7-Eleven. And I was like, well, I have something to tell both of you. I'm trans and I'm going to be starting estrogen sometime soon. So if you see any changes, don't be surprised, right? Like, I just sort of gave them like a general gist. I think at the time I didn't go by any new name or anything, so it was all sort of new. Friend A has been amazing. We're still friends now, and we still hang out and stuff. The entire time they've been very supportive, and they've been willing to, every pronoun change, every name change, they've kept up with it, all of it. And I have nothing but respect for them. Amazing. Friend B, now this is not exactly because they reacted to me, but because they fell into that right-wing,
Pipeline?
Yeah, the right-wing pipeline. As a matter of fact, it's almost like they slipped into it, bonked their head, and are unconscious, falling into this pipeline, and they're still in it, unconscious. But anyway, yeah. So, well, actually, I don't know what they're up to now, so I can't really say anything. But anyway, yeah. So I had friends that stayed and friends that left. A few friends that sort of revealed their true sides,
Mm-hmm.
I needed them to do exactly whatever the fuck they were gonna do, and I'm very happy that it happened that way, because now there's a lot less stress on me. There's a lot less me feeling like there's people I need to present to in a certain way.
Yeah.
And on top of that, after I came out, I went to groups and stuff. This is a tip, by the way. If you're coming out and you're in a city that has any of these meetups for LGBT people, or even support groups for LGBT people, go there, because you will meet friends and you will talk to people that have similar experiences. And even if your whole life you've never felt like anyone's related to you, trust me, you're going to go there and go like, oh, you are going through the shit that I'm going through right now. Dope. Trust me. Go out there. Fucking talk to somebody. Go to a coffee shop. If somebody out there you see has a pin that says like they, them, or like, you know, visibly gay pin or something, I don't know. Talk to them. Say hi. You know? And if there isn't one, be the spark in your neighborhood. Be the spark in your city. Try. Unless you're going to get shot in it, in which case, don't.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Be very careful.
Yeah, be very careful, especially some of you in the U.S. Good Lord.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in Canada. I'm protected by the Queen, Nicki Minaj. Okay. Oh, wait, no, the Queen's dead.
True.
It's King Charles now.
We are protected by the king.
Oh, fuck. All right, well. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore. I coughed so hard, I coughed the thought out.
That's fair. Trying to think of the future. So where do you think you're gonna go from here?
Well, when I was on estrogen for a few years, now I'm skipping a lot of details here, but when I was on estrogen for a few years, I developed breasts, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to go to surgery to have them removed. Not because they are feminine and I'm like, oh no, tits just kind of suck.
Yeah.
Like I thought I would, because everyone who ever told me was like, well, you're AMAB, so you're going to grow breasts, but it's not going to be that much. I grew proper tits.
Big mommy milkers.
Yeah, I grew mommy milkers. Genuine. If you look at my pictures from back then, my tits are big. And I'm a very active person. So I like to run around and shit, you know?
Yeah.
So they're not, oh my god, you know, they're not great for all that.
Yep. True.
So yeah, I think I had like the bra that I'm using are size D's.
God damn.
I know. I have proper honkers. But yeah,
some precious chests.
I do. I wish I could just give them to my other trans friends. Just be like, here, just have them. I don't care. Anyway, so I'm gonna have them removed, but I will go back on estrogen in the future because I want big legs, you know, like a little booty and stuff.
Yeah.
I already have it, but I want more.
Yeah.
Yeah. My plan in the future also, as this keeps going, is to have like little updates in our podcast about just like gender identity and like maybe like we can share our like little discoveries and stuff like that, even if they're just like personal discoveries, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I think that would be cute.
Yeah, I think that would be good. I think that's absolutely necessary because a lot of non-binary stories are told in such a short time, and it's, you know, it's a person's life. It's really hard to gather all of their thoughts about themselves and how the world perceives them, how they perceive the world, how they react to society, how society reacts to them, you know, like I think this is something that's more of an over time project, but I want to try to share as much as I can about my thoughts on it all. And I think you should do it too.
Yeah, I think it really is a journey.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we were born into this predetermined society where all of the social norms and everything were already kind of laid out, and those are what was taught to us, basically. So going through life now and growing up, you have more access to other people's experiences and different options, really. And that's something that I've been learning to lately. But it's not, you know, it's not like this is, you got to try things out, basically.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not, oh, this is my identity, this is how I feel. This is law.
Yeah.
Because it's always like,
It's,
you know, you discover new things even about yourself.
yeah, always changing.
Yeah.
And I think also what's necessary is the sharing of everyone's type of thought about who they are and how they are. I guess as an example, like I said earlier, for me, non-binary to me means I reach out to masculine and feminine energies, and I distill them and then display them, and then use that to make changes around me, you know, like helping people out or whatever. And I apply that in my creativity also, whether it's drawing or, you know, like writing, whatever. Now, I've also heard a very interesting take about being non-binary using they them pronouns that I really liked, and I think you might have seen that too. Maybe, I'm not sure, but anyway, it's that old lady that's like,
oh yes,
yeah, where she was, or not old lady, what am I talking about? I'm so sorry.
She was I would say she wasn't old, but like,
Yeah,
40 isn't old.
yeah,
But like I would say like late 30s, maybe early 40s.
yeah. And I don't know their pronouns though, so maybe I'm incorrect when I'm saying lady, but it's not like that video was like very long. It was a TikTok video, so we have no idea. But they were saying how their perception of using they them pronouns is not because of any sort of, you know, like they still use it as like
it's not due to any sort of gender identity.
Yeah,
or like
it's
feminine or masculine way.
Yeah, it's not like feminine or masculine. It's because they are a body that's all working together to produce this life. They are the they them that they are that they are the multiple of is their heart, their lungs, their stomach, whatever they eat, their legs, their arms. They are a body, you know.
All of the little microorganisms that make up them.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's how they used it. But yeah, see, that was a very interesting look on it, and I really appreciated seeing that because I think that's for some people that might be a way for them to understand how they them pronouns work, you know. All these people that are like, you didn't listen to grade 6 gender whatever, and it's like, yeah, but this also works, you see. There's other takes you can have to understand it.
Yeah, and a lot of different cultures have different gender identities too. It's not like a new thing. This is just, again, a new vocabulary word or a new version of it in like the modern day. But like two-spirit and native cultures, that's all I can think of right now because I'm big dumb. But like that especially is like a very sacred way to look at it. And it's not like, and man woman kind of came in after that and kind of erased that. So it's like you know, if you had like a different perspective or a different stage, if somebody had never learned what gender is or that things are inherently masculine or feminine, like what would they think of of any of that? Really,
they would probably see it as just like
another person,
penis haver, and whole haver. I don't know the fuck. I don't know. Like, you know, like I think there's depending on how you see it, but then also that is the physical show of gender. That's just physical. That's just what people see. What do they not see? What do they have to realize is a concept and is like in the mind, how they carry themselves, how they interact with the world. That's also very different, right? So yeah, uh, and like you said, history has always been changed by deranged people and whatever. They always want to control and think that they're correct, but no, there's no correct thing. As a matter of fact, only last, 80 years ago, or like 80, 70 years ago, fucking Nazis were here, destroying so much gathered history. In Germany, there was I forgot what it's called, but it's like a library of sexual health or something.
Hmm.
I'll have to do the research and talk about it next time because I really don't remember what it is. But it was run by a trans man, and of course the Nazis were in Germany, so they fucking destroyed it along with a bunch of the research and the history that was saved in there. Uh, Not to mention just the Nazis aside, the West has always thought that they are correct because they see themselves as a quote unquote first world country and therefore are more advanced. But there are other cultures that do not believe in just or not believe, sorry. They do not just see two genders. Anyway, we will talk about all of these in the future, I'm sure. But I do want to pick your mind on this topic because I also we never really talk about it a lot. I sort of just treat you like a bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh and
I'm okay with that.
yeah, I know, but I just mean like
I'm just one of the guys. What do you?
yeah, you're just one of the fucking dudes that's also addicted to Genshin. But yeah,
Call
anyway,
me out.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, I do want to hear your general sort of discovery of, your perception of your gender,
Yeah, for sure.
because it's
So
yours is very different from mine. Very, we come from like
yeah,
almost opposites. It feels like.
yeah, a little bit. Um, well, I grew up in sort of a manic household. Okay, like the women that I had in my life to look up to were very unstable, and I looked to male validation really, and like kind of men are superior, that type of shit.
Hmm.
Like I was almost ashamed of being AFAB. Nope. Yep,
No,
AFAB.
you got it right. I mean,
It's
how
like,
do I
oh,
know? I
that
don't
doesn't
know.
sound right. I was like, what does the B stand for? uh, so it was kind of like that thing of, oh, women are ugh, type thing. So I grew up like in a very tomboy, pick me type thing. Like I never liked sports, but I would always be like trying to get, because I liked masculine things too. Um, so I'd always try to kind of like relate to people in that way. Um, but and I did have we talked about this last time in the corrupted file.
Yeah.
But I did have a friend who had transitioned. They are non-binary now, but at the time they were AFAB, and then they transitioned to being a trans male. And I had thought about transitioning. It's something that because non-binary didn't exist to me at this point.
Hmm.
So I was like, I have all of these masculine tendencies, and I really like the idea of being male and all of that. But I don't know how I feel about transitioning, because I mean, I do still like feminine things,
Right.
deep down. I presented like very tomboy though, like never always wearing pants, never wearing like skirts or pink or anything like that.
Hmm.
But I was kind of stuck in that phase of what it means to be boy girl, basically.
Right.
Um, I can't like girl things because then I'd be too girly, or I can't like boy things because they reject me because I'm uh AFAB.
Hmm.
So I kind of grew up and started being chronically online. No, but learning that it's okay to be neither.
Yeah.
Um, and the fact that the things that, we grew up thinking are feminine or masculine, they don't really inherently mean or are confined to one gender or the other. Like boys can wear makeup, girls can play sports and play video games. Boys can wear pink and dresses. Like those things are only gendered because society says that they are. And kind of like dismantling that thinking um is hard, but that's why I feel like I never cared, I guess, what people called me.
Hmm.
Um, like I don't like being called a woman, but like there's something about that word. But I don't really like being called man unless it's like casually either.
Right.
So it's kind of just like I just want to be a person, like a little creature off to the side, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
Where gender isn't necessarily attached. And that's hard also because I also present very feminine. I've gotten to like or be comfortable wearing dresses and all of that. And I've always worn makeup as just like it's like a form of expression. And I like the way I look with makeup. But that means that I still present very feminine and I'm confined to that feminine genre, which is hard to break out of. Because I also have I don't have like mommy milkers. I have like auntie milkers.
Okay. Depending on
But
who you're talking to, they might be large.
yeah, they are there.
They're
They're
they're in the
abundant.
way sometimes.
They're noticeable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
they're in the way. So like stuff like that where it's inherently feminine, and I do like having I rapidly change between liking having biddies and also like wanting to just have like a completely flat chest. Like I think that looks so sick.
Yeah.
Um and all that. So it's kind of just that being comfortable with your body, being comfortable with what you like. And I don't want gender basically attached to what I enjoy.
Right.
It's yep,
No, yeah.
that's
Yeah, I totally get that, right? Like there is that pressure also like it's sort of one of the things that I glossed over also when we were in the corrupted file. But yeah, like we grow up in a world where if you are AFAB, you get dolls, fucking Polly Pocket. I don't know what the fuck. Like you get Furbies. You get a lot of like you must do this because you have to care in the future for people.
yeah.
You're gonna be a nurse or a mother or whatever, so you have to be into this, and it's all like Barbies and whatever, and everything's pink and super soft and whatever. Meanwhile, I know some women that could fuck me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of expectations and you grow up in that sort of environment, and it just never really fully works out that way because people are a lot more complicated than just blue and pink, but yeah, there's still a lot of that pressure when you're growing up to do those things because they fit into the narrative of man and woman. And for me, like I love toys. I really do love toys. As a matter of fact, I bought me a fucking Nerf gun last week. Okay.
Goddamn.
Yeah, hell yeah. I got that glat. Okay. Fucking.
That is with the blicky
I got the blicky, yeah. No, fucking. Like, yes, I like, playing with masculine toys and stuff, but I also do like playing with like typically quote unquote feminine stuff. I was playing with my niece the other day, or not the other day. This was a while ago because it was her birthday, so I went and visited.
Ooh,
and
happy birthday.
and I was just taking care of her, watching her while she was like playing with her toys and stuff. And she got this dollhouse. Like, it's a
Mm-hmm.
really nice dollhouse, and I was sitting there going like, "Damn, I fucking wish I had a fucking dollhouse when I fucking grew up. God fucking damn it, you know what I mean?" Like,
Yeah.
but now I got to play with her, so it was still sort of fun. Um, and then not to mention after after the toys and stuff phase, when you go into school and whatnot, it's like, you're a boy, go do sports. You're a girl, you're gonna do arts. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
that's not necessarily. There's always a gray space for all of that, and I'm very lucky to be in a time where it's a lot more accepted. Obviously, it's not like in the 40s or 50s where it was like way more forced, or even before that. Um, I'm sure there was still that in the 90s, But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
um, I still see that, and I still see the pressures of it, and there's still older people, who it made such an effect on them that they proceed to push it onto the next generation. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's very weird. Uh, yeah. What for you? Like I said, this is another question for you. Like I said, for me, it's very. I pick from masculine and feminine stuff. Like I grab stuff there, and sometimes I'm out of it. What are you at that phase yet where you're able to define your gender in any way, or are you still discovering that?
I'd say I like the phrase non-binary because I feel like that just creates a spectrum regardless.
Right.
Um, it's kind of like less of um no, I thought about gender fluid for a minute, but it's kind of like I like more of the idea of the absence of gender,
Yeah.
rather than kind of mixing them. But like I don't. It's hard because I also don't mind like um when it comes to kind of titles, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I was going through a one of my Facebook friends, Teehee, posted like a what's acceptable to call me by, and like I don't mind like being called he or she's a little bit like until I get the recognition of like they and other pronouns. It's like
Yeah.
she's a little, but I'm not gonna be super upset about it because I will also like when I talk about like feminism as somebody who spent most of my life identifying as female. um I will definitely talk about myself as a woman, and like the female experience of what life is like
Mm-hmm.
in that aspect. But um it's kind of, yeah, again, like that absence of like there needing to be a tie to what you are. I kind of just like the ambiguity of they I looked into neo pronouns. Those would be cool, but they's just so much simpler.
Yeah.
Because again, it's kind of like a I don't care what I'm identified as.
Yeah.
It's more so like I don't know how to say this. It's like I don't care enough about gender to be like, yes, I'm a man, or yes, I'm a woman type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um it's kind of like a, yeah, whatever you think I am, sure. Uh but make it be nothing.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
explaining this in like a terrible
No,
way.
no, no. You're doing fine.
Um okay, thank you. It's just like I don't want my identity to be tied to a gender.
Right.
I
And
think I said that, but I
yeah,
think that's my point, my
yeah.
final
You
point.
you don't want the things that you do to be tied to what they think you are.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay. Well, no, that's really good. Yeah. A lot of people have trouble putting that together, even in their own mind, let alone being able to talk about it. So I'm really happy for you that you're able to do that. So yeah, I do that same thing, by the way. with that whole like, if I'm out in public and it's somebody that I'm gonna meet maybe once or twice in my life, my whole fucking life, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna care.
Yeah.
But if I work with you, or if if you're a friend of mine, I'm gonna expect a little bit more respect. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna see each other almost every fucking day. I'm gonna expect that you give a fuck enough to use my pronouns, or don't tie me to whatever gender bullshit you have.
Right.
So that's really good. Yeah, there's a lot more we could talk about like the social implications and like gender roles, but I think this is actually a pretty good place to halt the serious part of our podcast, actually.
Fair.
Where we have just defined our takes on it, some of our experiences, and this is definitely just a rough outline, but
Yeah.
I think we could talk a whole other hour or even 2 hours about societal implications and gender roles. So we might be able to
absolutely.
split that into something else.
True. I was just thinking about going back to the whole toy thing
Yeah.
that you had mentioned. But I think the societal implications and everything again could be its own thing. But
Yeah.
I think having an understanding of like coming from what we identify as, it's
I think it's absolutely necessary that we just talk about ourselves first before we talk about our views on the world and stuff like that, so that people know where we're coming from in a separate time. But yeah, there's a lot more we can get into, but I think we're good here. Basically all I said was that I'm gonna get my titties chopped off, get a BBL and a tummy tuck.
oh shit.
No, I'm kidding. Okay.
Can I come?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Waiter, I'll have whatever they're having.
I'll have whatever they're having. I will do that shit in the future, though. I swear, it's gonna fucking happen.
I'm still debating.
You're still debating, yeah? Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Do you have anything else that you want to bring up about perspective in personal identity? And I know we can definitely talk about it in the future as well. This is not a topic that I'm saying like this is the only podcast episode about it. Like, no, we can do way more of these.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Real quick, I'm gonna say my thing and then I'm just gonna go straight into the outro.
Okay.
Last time we talked about this, and I had a friend ask me too recently about like, because I always call myself like a dumb little girl or like a dumb little boy type thing, and my friend was like, when I call you a dumb little girl and then switch it to dumb little boy, you react better when I switch it. And I was like, yeah. And then we talked about gender and all that. And then I brought up what I had said in the corrupted file about how I've decided that I really identify with gestures and like little court gestures with their little shoes and their little hats. Or it's kind of like that. They are inherently male, but they also have like that bit of androgyny where they're just kind of little dudes, little guys hanging around.
You're a garden gnome.
Yeah, that too. I do identify as a gnome. Gnome. Go. I do like fairies too. Gnome, fairy, jester.
Yeah, if I remember last time, we came to the conclusion that you want to be an entity.
Yes.
Yeah, not a man or a woman. You want to be a thing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, like my partner calls me a creature, and that's very validating.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Well, I'm happy you have that, by the way. Fucking.
Yeah, me too.
My partner calls me a creature.
The worst.
I call my partner Ash. I call them a little Griblebo.
Ooh, that's cute.
See, it works because there's sometimes they're not a man or a woman. They're a gremlin.
Yeah.
And I know that. I see that every day. I live with that gremlin. Anyway.
I fed it after midnight.
Oh, no. You never do that. Don't do that. It explodes at 1 a.m. Okay.
Oh, God. All right. Well, thank you for listening this far. We love you in a purely platonic way. Good night to all the cryptozoologists.
To all the farmers, good night.
To all the people who say you too instead of thank you at restaurants.
And most of all, the overnight convenience store workers, stay safe.
All right, sweet dreams.
Ah!